everyone and welcome to this channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a database and tables within Workbench. I have created tables and databases before using SQL Server. If you've not seen that video, go to the video on this channel and watch them. But here, I'm going to show you how to do this in Workbench. So the first one we're going to do is to create a database. I want to assume that you already installed your Workbench on your local computer. So go ahead and open this canvas. Now, we have the schema, but right now we do not have anything in this Workbench. So we're going to start off by creating the database. To create that, I'm going to write a syntax. So write create database, or you can use schema, and then we give it a name. So let's call this test. And then you can run it. So to run it, there's this thunder icon at the top of the canvas. So you're going to click that to run. And if you go down below, you're going to see your output, which tells you whether this was successful or not. If it was not, you're going to get an error message, right? So you can see that this was applied and it was successful. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to create a table, and we're going to do it the same way. If you refresh, you see that you've created your database, which is this one, the test. Right now, if you open it, there's nothing in this table, as you can see. So we're going to create a table within this database right now. Okay, let's go ahead and create our table. But before we do that, I need you to pay attention to this. If you look at the database that we created and you look at the tables within the database, there is no arrow because there's nothing in that database yet. We do not have tables yet. So we're going to create tables. But before we jump into that, you have to call out the database before you start creating tables into the database. So which of the databases do you want to put the table into? Let's just say we have a couple of databases, but you have to specify the database that you want to put the table. So we're going to use the syntax, use database. So we call out the name of the database. In this case, the name of the database is text. And then we start creating the table. So let's start with the create table, and then we give it a name. Let's say the name of the table is text table, and then we open the parentheses to start putting the values in there. So we need to put the fields and the records that we want to have in the tables. So the first thing is to put a column title, and then we had it data type. So let's say the first one is table ID, and then the data type is going to be integer because it's number. So, comma. And then the next one is going to be table name. And then that's going to be char. And so let's say 50 letters. And then the next one is going to be table items. And that's going to be char also. And 50. Separate with a comma. And then the next one is going to be, let's say, table address. So this is just like an example of how to create this manually. The next thing I'm going to do is to show you how to import a complete table into Workbench. So we go ahead and close the parentheses. And then let me change this to 50. Okay, so if we run this right now, we're going to create a table. Okay, let's see, we have an error. Okay, good. So we have that created. So anytime you run your syntax and you have an error, check the error text that you have below right here. So after we rerun that table, make sure you highlight with the database callout that you have here, use test. And then we have that. So if you want to check, let's refresh. Okay, so after we refresh, you see we have the arrow pointing to the table to say, look here, you have a table. Now, if you want to know whether we have something in that table that we just created, you just use the basic select statement, which is select all. You know, when you use asterisk, it means all from the table, test table. That's the name of the table, table. And then semicolon. And then you run that. Okay, so we have our table created. Remember, the items that we have in the table is the table ID, which is what we have here, table name, which is what we have here, table items, which is what we have here, and table address, which is what we have here. So this is going to be your syntax to create the table. So to create that, you have to insert values into this. So you do as many rows as possible. If you have 1 million rows, it means you're going to import 1 million values into this. So that's how to create a database and a table into MySQL Workbench. Thank you so much for watching.